Welcome to Sporebiosis. We know it's been a while we popped up on your feed, but now that we're here, we come bearing gifts. So wait till the end of this video to grab yours. To start us off with India to Tokyo, we have Sanvi, Rohit, and Abhilash to tell you where and how it all began.
Olympics, Paralympics, and India. It started as naked people fighting over food and then progressing to medals as reward. The human civilization over the decades has evolved, but one thing remained constant: people wanting to compete against each other for individual glory or national glory. This competitiveness gave rise to the Olympic Games. Perhaps the basic difference between the ancient and modern Olympics is that the former was the ancient Greeks' way of saluting their gods, whereas the modern Olympic Games are a manner of saluting the athletic talents of citizens of all nations.
The Olympic Games are an international sport festival that began in ancient Greece. The original Greek Games were staged every 4 years for several hundred years, until they were abolished in the early Christianity era. The revival of the Olympic Games took place in the year 1896, and since then they have been staged every 4 years, except for during World War One and World War Two. The Olympic ring expresses the activities of Olympic movements and represents the union of five continents, namely Oceans, Africa, America, Asia, and Europe. The flames, on the other hand, is the symbol of Olympic message of peace, friendship, tolerance, and hope. After being lit, the flame continues to burn throughout the games until the day of the closing ceremony.
On the other hand, Paralympic Games was an event organized by Sir Ludwig Guttmann in 1948. He organized a competition in Stoke Medwell in the United Kingdom for the Second World War veterans with spinal injuries. He believed that sport was good for both morale and rehabilitation. This event was very successful, and by 1960 it had evolved to an Olympic-style games with participants from all over the world. The first official Paralympic Games was held in Rome, Italy in 1960. And since that time, Paralympic Games have continued to grow in size and stature. Although there has always been close ties between the Olympics and the Paralympics, in 2001, an agreement between the IOC and International Paralympic Committee ensured that from 2012 onwards, the city chosen to host the Olympic Games will also be obliged to host the Paralympic.
We will now be moving on to Olympism and global icons with Anirban and Avi doing justice to the whole topic.
Olympism. Olympism refers to the philosophy of the Olympic Games. Olympism seeks to create a way of life by blending sport with culture, education, and international cooperation. It is based on the joy of effort, the educational value of a good example, social responsibility, and respect for universal fundamental ethical principles. The main goal of Olympism is to place sport at the service of the harmonious development of humankind, with a view to promoting a peaceful society concerned with the preservation of human dignity. According to the principle of Olympism, the practice of sport is a human right. Every individual must have the possibility of practicing sport without discrimination of any kind, and in the Olympic spirit, which requires mutual understanding with a spirit of friendship, solidarity, and fair play. A principle of non-discrimination is at the heart of Olympism. Olympism says that the enjoyment of rights and freedoms to practice sport should take place without discrimination of any kind, such as race, color, sex, sexual orientation, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or their status. Olympists are adherents or advocates of Olympism who commonly refer to their work as building better humans. 6 activities are currently included within Olympism in action. The activities include development through sport, education through sport, peace through sport, sport and the environment, sport for all, and women and sport. Let us now take a look into some of the global icons who justify the spirit of Olympism.
Michael Phelps, the most successful Olympian of all time. He back 8 gold medal at 2008 Olympics. Shelly Fraser, the nickname Rocket Pocket, she has won more global 100-meter titles than any other female. Mofar is a British long distance runner and the most successful British track athlete in modern Olympic Games history. Eliud Kipchoge, he is the world record holder in the marathon with a time of 2 hours 1 minute 39 milliseconds. Michael Johnson, his former held the world and Olympic record in 200 meter and 400 meter, as well as the world record in the indoor 400 meter. Neymar, Brazilian professional footballer, captained Brazil to their first Olympic gold medal in men's football at 2016 Olympic Games.
These athletes do have the traits of Olympism imbibed in them. This brings us to the Indian subcontinent and its revolution when it comes to Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. This would be brought to you by Vaishali, Nakul, Sharath, Ishwar, Anuj and Rudra.
Now moving on, the scenario of India and its history in Olympics. So the starting was not very good, as it was a very sad starting because India has to participate in Olympics. It first entered Olympic in 1900, but under the flag of British Raj. But the scenario changed when Indian hockey team came on the ground, and it created a legacy for around 6 years as it bagged continuous medals, and it created its legacy in the game.
So let's talk about our Olympic achievers. Over the years, India has seen a steady rise in the number of medals being won at the Olympics. While for some it's still not good enough, others see it as a boom that can only be built upon in the coming years. We take a brief look at the Indian Olympic winners, getting both in the individual as well as team category. In the 1952 Summer Olympics, wrestler KD Jadhav won the first individual medal for independent India and kickstarted India's campaign in the Olympics as a free nation. India is the most successful country ever in the Olympics when it comes to field hockey. To date, India has won 11 Olympic medals in hockey, 8 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. In the 2000 Sydney Summer Olympics, Karna Malleshwari won a bronze medal in the women's 69 kgs weightlifting. It was the first ever Olympic medal won by Indian women.
Then came Rajvardhan Singh Rathore at the 2004 Athens Olympics, where he won a silver medal in men's double trap shooting. And Vijayendra Singh and Sushil Kumar won bronze medals in boxing and wrestling respectively. Although the latter won a silver medal at the 2012 London Olympics, I really believe that he really should have been given a gold medal for his off-field antics.
And Mary Kom became the first Indian woman to win a medal in boxing with her bronze medal in women's flyweight in London 2012 Olympics. And then Gagan Narang had won the bronze medal in men's 10-meter air rifle. Vijay Kumar and Yogeshwar Dutt have capped it out with respectively a silver medal in 25-meter rapid fire and a bronze medal in the 60 kg category at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London.
Leander Paes, who is one of the biggest sporting icons of India, won a bronze medal in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics in the singles tennis events. And who doesn't remember Abhinav Bindra? He became India's first individual gold medalist when he won a gold in the 10-meter air rifle category in 2008 Beijing Olympics. In 2016 Summer Olympics, Sakshi Malik became India's first woman wrestler to win a bronze medal in the 58 kg freestyle category. Coming to badminton, Saina Nehwal won a bronze in the 2016 Summer Olympics and thus grabbed the first Indian individual medal in badminton. She was soon followed by PV Sindhu, who won a silver medal and thus became the youngest Indian to win an individual Olympic medal.
So, as we talk about our Olympic stars, how can we forget about our Paralympic athletes? We will start with Murlikant Petkar, who was the first Paralympic gold medalist who represented India at the 1968 and 1972 Paralympic Games. He bagged the gold medal in 1972 Summer Paralympics, where he set a world record in the 50-meter freestyle swimming event. Next is Abhirun Deepa Malik, who won silver in the 2016 Summer Paralympics in shot put and is the first Indian woman to do so. Next, there is Devendra Janjaria, who was the first Indian to win 2 gold medals at the Paralympics in javelin throw, one in 2004 and the other in 2016. So, all these athletes have played a crucial role in our sporting history.
The journey till here has been quite fruitful for India, don't you think? But who do you think would be the prospects for Tokyo 2021? Let's find out with Nitin and Rohan.
Over the years, our nation's sport industry has been expanding.
Not just the athletes, but the people working here as well.
Yes, that's what you heard. The sport industry.
Okay, let's get back to work and talk about the prospects of India winning medals at the Olympics.
Sure, I will begin. So we have the super popular PV Sindhu and Mary Kom. You should be knowing this sport and why they are the real contenders. Both of them have Olympic medals. They should be bagging them this time too.
Oh yeah? They're not the only super popular ones. We have Amit Pangal, Asian Boxing Championship gold medalist, and then Bajrang Punia, Asian Games gold medalist, and then we have Manu Bhaker, a phenomenal shooter, and then another boxer, Deepak Punia as well.
Then another shooter on our list is Saurabh Chaudhary. Then Neeraj Chopra, the young boy who holds the national record in javelin throw, the men's hockey team, and then our very own Paralympics too.
Right, here's my favorite part, because these athletes are truly inspiring. We have Pramod Bhagat, Sundar Singh Gurjar, Harvinder Singh, Ekta Bhyan, and totally 25 para-athletes are going to Tokyo, and I'm sure that they won't disappoint us this time.
Yeah, this isn't any other tournament. This is the Olympics.
All of them, all the athletes need our support, not just as fans, but as brothers and sisters, so that they have shoulders to rely on.
I'm sure that there's definitely a good backing from the members of our nation's Paralympic Committee and the IOA.
Of course, even they are as concerned and as supportive as we are. We are still in hard times and we need to accept that. Our standards have been low and we need to raise our levels. And together, we will.
All these athletes are purely phenomenal, and we wish them all the success at the Tokyo Games. We now move on to Abhishek and Sanket, who would talk about how can India become a sporting nation.
I'm going to be talking to you about is grassroots development. I understand that this is a cliche topic in this industry, but it is imperative to India becoming a sporting nation. The first point within grassroots development I'd like to touch upon is increased participation. We have to increase and encourage participation at the grassroots level at the lower age groups from like ages 6 to 13. Now, while we're encouraging participation, it is also important to inculcate elite athletics values and Olympic values within these younger children, because this is the correct age to inculcate these values and have it reflect later on in their life. Last but not the least, if we want to create world-class athletes, we have to provide them with world-class infrastructure and facilities. And we have to provide better infrastructure, not only at the grassroots level, but also at the amateur, semi-pro, and professional levels. Now, next, I'd like to come to education and awareness. Now, a lot of the Indian population is not educated about the benefits of sport. They're not educated about the benefits of living a healthy and fit life and how sporting activities can help you achieve that. And it is important to educate people at the school level, at the college level, at even the kindergarten level, that sports plays a huge role in giving you a holistic approach to life. And last but not the least, if we want to raise awareness about different sports, some sporting activities in this country, we have to host more large-scale sporting events like the Commonwealth Games, like the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, even the Khelo India Games, which happens yearly. More large-scale sporting events will actually help raise awareness about sports in the country. And I think it's a really important factor in making India a sporting nation.
We talk about how India can become a sporting nation. One of the most important factors is fan engagement, and it needs to be taken care of. It can be done through sports broadcasting. It will increase the number of viewers who are watching the game, and it will spread more awareness about any particular game. It's not just about the live match, it's also the pre-match and the post-match events which will give more information about a particular sport, and you can create a fan base around them. It is also important to glorify Indian sports stars of different fields, as it will act as an inspiration for young children and they can have a benchmark to look at. It will also motivate the athletes to perform better in the events and competitions. Lastly, fan engagement will bring in the financial side of India becoming a sporting nation, as broadcasting will bring in money as more viewers will watch it, and different fan engagement models can bring in money, which will help the development of sports across India.
This brings us to the last segment of our video today with Priyam and Noel discussing on how sports managers play a pivotal role in building a sporting nation.
Sports manager are the persons who can play a major role to get India to that point. First aspect where sports manager can help is to identify pool of talent. India has a very large amount of talent at many levels, and sports manager through the different channels can find so many talent at different levels. So it is important for that. And the other part is grassroots development, where sports managers can find people at grassroots level and develop sports at that level also by developing infrastructure and getting to the right grassroots levels. So these are the two aspects where managers can work.
So again, yeah, following up on Priyam's part, again, another whole area where as sports managers, we can improve the sports economy in the country is by concentrating more on the operation side of events, because we have seen that, the limited amount of resources that are allocated for each event, there has been instances where, it gets wasted or is not optimally used. So again, in a country, in a developing or budding country like India, concentrating on the operation side of things would definitely help us. And along with this, again, putting a little bit more importance on, how the whole event is marketed. In general, concentrating on the marketing and sales side of things too would make the event more polished. Again, would help to bring in a lot more traffic and make the event a grand success. Yeah, thank you.
This is where you might think the video ends, but it doesn't, because now you have a chance to win a gift voucher worth rupees 500 only if you answer 3 questions correctly and all together in our live chat box. The questions should be up in right about now. With this, we come to an end of our video, India to Tokyo. If you like it, please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and hope you're staying safe and taking good care of yourself during these times. Thank you. See you soon.